I was talking to someone who mentioned happiness, like trying to be happy. And I feel like it's the search for happiness that makes us unhappy. Like it creates more suffering. And there's also so much out there that is selling happiness as if it could be a permanent thing. But I think it's more relieving to know that you're not in control of how the body feels. It's free to be sad. It's free to be happy. It's free to fluctuate. And you can't really dictate it. And I think when I was younger, um, I appeared really happy. And it was partially genuine and partially because I got the feedback that I was such a happy kid, I amplified it. I thought I should be constantly happy. And then it became a little more fake, a little more forced because it seemed to make other people happy that I was happy. So then I pretended to be happy. And then there wasn't an allowance for sadness or any other emotion, anger. And I guess that's how it innocently starts out. And I think when you're going through this, um, a lot more of the suppressed stuff can come up. So more of the so-called negative emotions that we've avoided. And then it you can't really label it as definitive emotions anymore. It just is what it is. It becomes really hard to define what it is. And I notice now this body doesn't smile if it doesn't want to smile. And there's really no problem with it because I can't force it anymore. I met a friend that I haven't seen in a while, and I think her perception of me was expecting like an older version of Suzanne that looked a specific way, acted a specific way, probably more cheerful, even though um it was like a forced cheerfulness just for the interaction. I'm not saying that's completely true, but I think seeing this friend now, it was just the body was free to be as it was. It wasn't thrilled. It was just normal. And so I think I could feel the concern from my friend. Um, her asking me is if something's wrong. It's like, no, nothing's wrong. The body just is this way. It doesn't want to fake an emotion, a state, just to make another person more comfortable or fulfill their expectation of what this should look like. And so there's internal freedom. There's internal, I'm, this body isn't beholden to anything. It doesn't have to act a certain way. So there is a lot more of an okayness, but externally, people think it's a problem. People think you should be their idea of how you should be. And it's innocent, but it's rare to find someone who's not doing that to you, who's not judging the body. It's hard to encapsulate what suffering is, but I guess just what's seen here now is that when the body's agitated, it's just purely agitated. And there's actually a real niceness to that, that it's just purely that. That's it. There's no one being agitated. It's just agitated. And again, that label, it makes no sense. There's nothing here that's really saying, oh, this is agitated. I mean, just to tell a story, we use these words, but it's just purely that, whatever it is. There's nothing making meaning out of it, that I'm a bad person. I shouldn't be agitated. I should suppress this. I should put on a smile. I should make sure the other person views me in a perfect way. So I feel like we get it backwards. Like when there's fear here or shame or anything else, we feel like it shouldn't be. And we try to get rid of it somehow. But it can be a really beautiful thing when all of those ways of covering it up can't really work anymore. And it's just pure shame. And there's nothing you could do about it. It's just here. Again, taking away that label because we don't really know what it is. It might just feel bad or uncomfortable because we associate it as something that's bad, that we're bad. But what if there's nothing we could do about it? What if we never brought it on? What if we're not in control of when it appears, how long it stays, and all the stories that come up is probably just an expression of the pain that was never felt, that was never allowed, that was never able to just be here, be heard, be seen. And then perhaps you could see where it kind of came from in the story. All the times that you felt shame before, it's just seen, it's revealed, it has space. You never needed to run from it. You never needed to hide from it. You never needed to deny anything. It never meant anything about you. I think we're so accustomed to fix things in the mind, believe that it's an actual problem. But what if the body was fully capable of processing everything and the mind was just an interpreting machine that wasn't saying the absolute truth, but it could be just an expression of what you've been through, your interpretation of it at the time. I think we also become accustomed to defining things, sticking to things, sticking to a thought or a belief or a feeling. And energetically, it's not free in the body. It's not free to come and go. If anyone would like to interact, you're welcome to raise your hand. I'm happy to sit with you if there's any challenging things coming up. Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Suzanne. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Um, I rose my hand. I had a kind of a question. Um, it's interesting that you started off talking about happiness, to start with, because today, especially before the meeting, the word happiness kept coming to me, and more so because I experience usually the opposite of happiness, so unhappiness. Um, and kind of regarding that, I guess my question is when you're like in it, right? Like the releasing, the emptying, the emotions, the energy, the contractions, like you're like having one of those moments where you don't know if you're gonna explode, implode, like it's so strong, and especially like so strong in the body. Um, that I, I want to say like, well, have any tips on what to do? But I'm just sort of like kind of at this point where I'm seeing there might be like ultimately nothing. Sure, you could like try to self-soothe and things like that, and that's great because like that's all I do. I mean, I'm horizontal on the couch, on the bed all day, every day. Thank God I work remote. Um, but I'm just sort of at this point where I can see that like no matter what I'm going to do, it's just like another covert kind of coping mechanism to avoid what I'm feeling. Not enough walks, car rides, phone calls, TV shows, Zoom meetings, meditations, etc. That are going to like be the thing that like does it. Um, and so my what the parts of me that still remain are trying to like wrap its mind around like, okay, like I'm miserable. The truth is I'm miserable. I'm miserable almost every day. Um, and so the mind is still trying to like almost land somewhere in that in a way of like, okay, like this might be how it is for the rest of your life. And so, how are you going to handle that? Can you work? Can you live life, but as just a totally miserable human being? So that's kind of where I'm at. So it's still a lot of mental games, mental world trying to figure it out. And deep down, I'm like, I think it's really just more and more having to do with like a willingness of letting go, letting go, letting go. Um, I don't like that. I don't want to let go, but like I feel like the universe, so to speak, is like even this morning, I had this thought like, okay, my hands are up. You got me. I've been running from the cops for 20 years. This is metaphorically, by the way. Like, oh, they got me cornered. I'm surrounded, hands up, clink, clink, I'm going in. But that's how it feels. Like I can't keep running from just what is all the time. Um,
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's exactly how I felt. I was pretty miserable for such a long period of time that was um, unavoidable. No matter what I did, it still didn't get rid of it. I still couldn't hide it. I still couldn't suppress it. Um, and that exactly what you described of like, no matter what you do, it's still there. That is the letting go. That is the kind of seeing that you have absolutely no control. And that's what it takes. You still try everything and it's still not changing. It's still not going away. Um, I kind of noticed that the personal emotions are very surface level. So, what you're going through now is a place where nobody ever talks about because this is not recommended. Basically, everyone is trying to make you happy and say that it is up to you, that you can be happy. Um, what I am saying is that that is all fine if it works for people. But if you see that it doesn't work and you see that I'm sick of, not even I'm sick of, but you just see that it doesn't work. This is the only way that you see what's beyond that, the surface level way of living, getting happiness from certain things or acting a certain way. Um, this is where you find out what is underneath that way of living. And uh, yeah, you basically have to, it's not going through misery, it just is misery, basically. You're just in misery. And I think only through that do you actually see something that's really impersonal. It's not changing, it's not manufactured, it's uncaused. And I think I just say that to give you an overall picture of what's happening. It's like people are living on the surface here, thinking that they can manipulate the body to feel certain ways. And we're never encouraged to go beyond deeper. Very rarely do people actually go there, understandably. Like, why would you? But unless it's kind of forced in a way, like you really don't have a choice, it's just happening. And then you can can't kind of uncover what's been underneath all of that. And it is something profound. It is something that you can't get to unless you go through this. So you're not wrong in feeling the way you do. It's not your fault. There really isn't anything that you could do. I'm not saying don't try to comfort the body. I think it's healthy for you to support it as best as you can. I think that's okay. But I just want to confirm that this is exactly what it feels like. And that kind of um, you didn't really do it by choice, but that kind of acceptance of maybe this is gonna be what it is. And how can I live? How can I live being miserable? That's basically where I had to learn how to just live here.
Yeah. And the irony is I've never wanted to live here.
Yeah, we've been avoiding this, or at least it felt like I was avoiding that for a very, very long time until I couldn't.
Yeah. We're sold. It's like we're just sold the programming, hook, line, and sinker on the whole entire thing. And it's like, not it.
Yeah. And when I was going through this, I remember having moments where I was like, am I going to be happy now? Like, am I going to be happy now? And there was always this expectation of like, when am I going to be happy? And I had to go through that 1,000 times to finally, it was a natural, like, I don't think it's possible. And that was such a relief. It was such freedom to finally let go of that idea that it was a possibility.
Mm, yeah. It's like, and hearing you say that, it's, and I could almost, I'll use words like feel it energetically, like circling a drain or something. I can almost like inside and like just this like energetic thing of like I keep getting close to the drain and then one, nope, we're gonna swing out a little bit and then come back to the drain. I'm just about to go in, possibly even have the disposal turned on once I get in there. But either way, we're just gonna kind of keep not going in there. But it's like a gravitational vortex, it feels like it wants me in the drain. And I'm fighting it, but I'm pretty beat up. So I might just slip in the drain, metaphorically speaking. It might just finally take me in. Because what you said, it's like you can't, yeah. And you're so right. It's like that's what I battled too. I'm like, there's so much out in this world, even like old spiritual concepts like the law of attraction, the law of assumption. And like I was trying to utilize that to get happy. I'm like, well, maybe I need to like reprogram my mind and just the whole thing, right? And it's like, it's not happening. Just isn't, it's not happening.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I hear many people saying like I tried to raise my vibration, but yeah, it just doesn't work. Or, they try. It makes sense that you would try different things that you think like, oh, yeah, maybe this person does have the answer and you just like try it, but it's like nope.
I'm not a big fan of his, but I remember this old clip from Eckhart Tolle. He was talking and he said they in the power of now when he wrote it, the editors took, which is also funny, just interesting to hear this too from a spiritual marketing perspective, but they took out a paragraph that he wrote that said he feels like something on the lines of in his chest was a massive black hole that just was swallowing everything up into it and then himself into it. And it's kind of what it feels like in a weird way.
Mm, nice. How does it feel in the body right now?
There's like buzzing and there's pain, tension like in my chest and stomach area. My eyes too. Like I'm always squinting, and it's not because I have like vision problems or something. It's like it's almost like this bracing, like the body like bracing the visceralness of it all. And even as I like really get into it and like feel into it, there is like this centered pullingness. And then if I go there, I'm totally present, but then I like it's like ejecting out back up into the mind. It's like, whoa, no, like I need that overlay of thought identification. Because if it's not there, like, what am I doing? Where am I?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's allowed to do that as often as it does. It makes sense. It's because the body is just not used to functioning just purely as what is, and that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation, by the way, as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I know it's tough. I'm very uncomfortable, but you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, Alexis,
Hey, how you
nice to
doing?
see you.
My mom's here.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So my
Well,
question, it was really so nice to hear you and everyone. My question is about quiet. Since so I had a spiritual awakening 5 years ago, and before that I was a very talkative person from like a New York Jewish family. And there's just been less and less talking.
mm, yeah. Is it alarming for you?
I love it. I mean, it's so beautiful. I love quiet. When I was a kid, I was terrified of quiet. Like growing up in New York, there was just very little quiet. And I remember going out into the country a few times, and it was literally I was terrified. And it took a long time. I lived in the woods for 5 years, and it took a long time, like all those unidentifiable noises, like of animals, and oh my god, it took a long time to adjust to it. And now I absolutely love it,
Nice. Yeah.
both like on the inside and the outside. I just wondered what your experience has been like with quiet.
Yeah. I think that it has always kind of oscillated, but I was always kind of introverted anyway. So I did always need my alone time to like recharge. Um, but yeah, I think the more recent years it's been to uh it kept oscillating. There were times where I was still a little bit more totally fine with interaction and stuff. But I think where it is now is there's such a deliciousness to just being like unbelievable, unimaginable that there's nothing else that's needed. So there's no pull or draw to talk or interact if
Yeah.
it's not, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if it's not needed, you know?
Yeah. I was listening to somebody else who's like part of this group talking about how they were sort of making a comparison to you and feeling like there was like a wish they could be more quiet. And for me, it's been like the opposite. Like I love it, but like it's the number one complaint from family and friends.
Mm, yeah. If sadness is there, let it be here. You're welcome to cry.
And my boyfriend has said like you're communicating with silence is not helping our relationship. And it was like there's been all this kind of like or like stonewalling when it was just not true at all. Just having a moment of quiet, like nothing to do with being angry at him.
Yeah. Take all the time you need.
I used to talk and talk and talk and talk and like not say anything. And that's just not needed anymore.
Yeah, it's a huge change.
And I can just find myself like in social situations, just like very happy, very quiet, just listening.
Yeah.
But I can understand that it's frustrating for other people.
Yeah, I know.
So I just wondered how has it been like in your relationships with family and friends?
Yeah, yeah. That's a great question. Um, I used to feel more guilty that I wasn't contacting people who are close to me. So there was kind of an effort here because of the guilt to reach out and to make sure they're okay. Um, I think to a large degree, who I really interacted with started to, oh, yeah, started to change depending on who I thought could understand me. It just naturally changed that way. I think I don't know if that's absolutely true. People who I felt comfortable with, I would still talk to them about mundane things as well. I think the body still felt comfort around that sometimes. Um, but so if someone's not easily accessible, like here in front of me, I don't feel obliged to reach out as much. So let's say with my dad, he lives relatively close, but he's not like here in the apartment and stuff. So I don't reach out to him as much. Um, that's also partially because I think he's completely fine. And but there was still the guilt that would arise here and there that would I could feel it even when the body was like completely just at peace and stuff. The thought of my dad would come up. Um, yeah, but I think I realized like he's fine. People are fine. And if they actually need my help, I am pretty sure I'll be there. So I don't need to constantly message them and call them and, keep in contact just because I feel guilty and bad, or I think they expect that from me. All it was doing was creating suffering here, even in the slightest ways.
And what about in a group setting?
In a group setting. You mean
Yeah.
like here?
No, I mean like social.
Like friends?
Yeah.
I don't really do that. I have done it, like small groups. Maybe just my friend and her partner, really. And I was mostly kind of quiet, but yeah, I mean, it was pleasant enough, but it didn't feel like it needed to happen again.
But in that situation, or even if it's one-on-one with a friend, like you can sort of notice that there's quiet.
And it's a little awkward.
Well, it's more of a question. Are you able to just like accept it?
Yeah. It took time. I think before it felt like maybe I should say something now. Maybe I should ask a question. And and sometimes I would, and that's fine. But I think more and more I'm okay with just being. I do notice that the other person, depending on how they are, they do ask me a lot more questions to fill
Yeah.
the space. Yeah. Or they talk a lot more to fill the space.
I love listening.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's what ends up often happening is I'm just listening.
That makes sense. Has it been difficult for your mom?
I'm okay with quiet. I'm okay with quiet, and I'm okay with talking. I like my career. My career is talking, but I like quiet. I can be quiet.
Yeah.
I think we have learned over the years to be more quiet. And quiet has gotten more comfortable as I've quieted down inside. She's quieted down inside. I think quiet has gotten easier for the two of us together.
There's no thought happening. It's just like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and sometimes there is like there's a lot of peace.
Just a second. Sorry, I lost you for a second. You're back.
That feels good.
Thanks, Lex. That feels good.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say? It's nice that your mom is on. It's really sweet to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
We're both from New York also, so I really wanted her to meet you when she was visiting.
Oh, sweet.
Nice to be here in your presence.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks so much for sharing. It's nice to see you.
See you next time.
Okay, see you.